Hi dear children, welcome to today's maths class. In this maths class, we are going to discuss a simple topic connected with measures of some figures. And you are familiar with lots of figures just like square, rectangle, triangle, circle, hexagon, pentagon, etc. You have dealt with all these figures in the previous classes also. Now, we are going to have a detailed study about these figures in this chapter, and this chapter has got the name mensuration. So, what is the meaning of mensuration? Mensuration is a word connected with measuring of dimensions. We know the meaning of dimensions also. What do you mean by dimensions? Yes, length, breadth and height are called dimensions of figures. So let's recall some of the terms that you have already learned in the previous years. The first term is that perimeter. Do you remember the meaning of perimeter? Yes, let's take an example. What is the shape of this figure? Correct, it's a rectangle. So let's try to calculate the perimeter of this rectangle. What is this dimension called? This is the breadth. And what is this longer dimension called? This is the length of the rectangle. How many breadths are there? Yes, there are two breadths and there are two lengths also for a rectangle. Now let's see, what do you mean by a perimeter? Suppose there is an ant and the ant is standing its journey from a corner here. We consider the sides here, okay. So the ant is standing here and it is going to start its journey from here. It's coming through this length and it goes to this side and it is traveling to the next boundary and it completes its journey covering all the four sides. So the ant was standing here, it covered all the four sides of this rectangle and that makes the perimeter of this rectangle. The total distance covered by the ant in its journey is known as the perimeter of this rectangle. Do you remember how did you calculate that using the length and breadth? It is not always possible to take the ant and make it travel. How can we calculate the perimeter of a rectangle using length and its breadth? Yes, there are two lengths here and two breadths. So, we can say that perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the sum of its length and breadth. We say that perimeter of a rectangle is 2 times the sum of its length and breadth. Okay, fine. Now, let's go for the next shape, that is square. The same way, if you go for calculating the perimeter as the total distance of the boundary, the total distance of the boundary of a square. You know that for a square, the sides are same. The sides are same. There are 4 sides. So what can you write here? Side plus side plus the third side and we have the fourth side also. We can write side 4 times and finally, what do you conclude for the perimeter of a square? Yes, it can be 4 times side. So, for example, if one side is 5 centimeters, what can be the perimeter of a square? 4 times 5, that is 20 centimeters. Perfectly correct. Now, let's take the next figure, that is an equilateral triangle. What's the meaning of an equilateral triangle? Yes, a triangle having 3 equal sides. The 3 sides of a triangle are equal for an equilateral triangle. Let's see how can you calculate the perimeter of such a figure. It's very easy. Since all the 3 sides are equal, you can say that it is side plus side plus the third side. So how many times did we add the sides? Yes. So finally 3 times we have added the side. So we can conclude that it is 3 times side. 3 times one side will give you the perimeter of an equilateral triangle. So there are 3 different special figures here: rectangle, square and equilateral triangle, and we have just recalled the formula to find their perimeter also. Now can you just tell me some situations in your daily life where you are using the perimeter? You have seen in your school when the sports meet is going on, your friends and the teachers will be doing that drawing of the tracks for 200 meters race or even 3000 meters race. Yeah, preparing a track is taking the idea of perimeters. Then where else have you seen the use of perimeter? Yes, when we are building compound walls for your houses, perimeter is used. Do you have any other situation where this perimeter is used? Fencing. Yes, when we fence a park or a garden or even a compound, we use the idea of perimeters. So there are lots of situations where we use the idea of perimeter, and we will be seeing some questions based on the use of perimeter in the daily life in the coming classes. Now let's continue the class with some examples on the idea of perimeters. So the first question is here. Shabana wants to put a lace border all around a rectangular table cover 3 meters long and 2 meters wide. Find the length of the lace required by Shabana. After reading the question, we have to think about what idea we have to apply there. It's a lace around a tabletop. So as we told, if you think this as a tabletop, Shabana has got a table cover and she has to put lace all around the table cover. It's not affecting the top part. It is just the borders of the tabletop or the table cover getting affected. So when it is talking about the boundary or the border, we have to talk about the perimeter. So here the required lace is actually the perimeter of the tabletop. So how do we start answering this question? So after reading the question, we can say that it is given 3 meters long. So let's write the length of the table cover is 3 meters long, and then we have its width, or it is the breadth, it is 2 meters. If we know the length and width or length and breadth of a rectangle, we know how to find the perimeter. The perimeter is equal to, yes, it is 2 times length plus breadth. So the required length for the lace will be the perimeter. So let's give the value for the length and breadth. It is 2 times length is 3 meters plus breadth is 2 meters. After that, we will just do like this. It is 2 times whatever is inside the bracket will be calculated first. So 3 plus 2, it is 5. So finally you are getting 5 times 2, it is 10 meters as the perimeter. So how do we conclude the answer? The length of the lace required by Shabana is equal to 10 meters. Let's take the next example. Find the distance travelled by Shena if she takes 3 rounds of a square park of side 70 meters. So in this question, there is a square park and one side of the square park is given as 70 meters. So she is running around the square park. Running around the square park is dealing with its perimeter. So this question is also connecting its operation with finding the perimeter of the square park. Now let's see what are the things given in the question. So here it's one side of the square park is given, it is 70 meters. And since we have to find the perimeter of a square is known to us. How do you find the perimeter of a square? It is 4 times one side. 4 times length of one side. So it is given here 4 times one side is 70 meters. So let's write that 70 there. And now how much is 4 times 70? It is 280 meters. But there is an important thing given here. What is that? If she takes 3 rounds, she is not taking 1 round, she is taking 3 rounds there. Okay, so let's go for finding the total distance. Finding the total distance, that is, if it is 1 round, it is 280 meters, and if it is 3 rounds, how do you find? 3 times 280, and how much do you get here? 840 meters will be the final answer for this question. So Shaina is covering a distance of 840 meters on this square park. Now we will see more questions in the exercises. Now let's continue the topic area as the next one in the same chapter. When we talk about area, we have to think about the whole surface of that figure. If you take a square shape like this, you can see the whole space which is in yellow color is known as its area. Or you can say the whole board, the white portion of the board is taken as its area. So we have 2 important shapes here. First one is rectangle and the second one is square. You have already learned in your previous class that how to find area of a square and area of a rectangle by counting the unit squares inside that. From there, we have derived a formula to find the area of a rectangle as length multiplied with breadth. And for a square, it is side multiplied with the other side. So these are the 2 important formulae which we have to keep in our mind in connection with area. Let's verify these formulae with the help of 2 examples. The first one is find the area of a rectangle whose length and breadth are 12 centimeter and 4 centimeters respectively. So the question is given to you in that the length of the rectangle is given to you, breadth is also given. So let's write the answer with the correct steps. As we have learned already, we have to go for writing the steps according to the question. So length is 12 centimeters and breadth is given as 4 centimeters. Now let's recall the formula to find the area of a rectangle, that you can write there. Area is equal to length multiplied with breadth. Let's give the values for length, that is 12 multiplied with 4. How much is 12 times 4? That is 48. So 48 square centimeter. We know that when we talk about area, its unit is told in square units. So since in this question it is centimeter given as the unit of length and breadth, we have to talk about its unit for area as 48 square centimeter. Hope it is clear to you. Let's go for the second question. Find the area of a square plot of side 8 meters. How can we find the area of a square if its one side is 8 meters? Yes, you can use the formula for finding the area of a square as side multiplied with side. So if you give the value here, area is equal to side multiplied with side. How much is the side given here? It is 8 meters. So let's substitute the value 8 meters for side, and you are getting it is 64 square meters. This is how calculate simply the area of rectangle and square, and please practice the other questions given in the exercise also. Let's look at some of the daily life situations where we are using area. You might have seen the tiling process going on when the house construction is done. So here is such a question where we are using area in daily life. Let's see the question. How many tiles whose length and breadth are 12 centimeters and 5 centimeters respectively will be needed to fit in a rectangular region whose length and breadth are 100 centimeters and 144 centimeters. So the question is to find how many tiles are required to fit in a particular region, and for that region the length and breadth are given. So when such questions are there, we have to go for finding the area of the region first, and then we have to go for finding the area of the tile given to us. So let's analyze the question and go for the steps one by one. Let's go for the area of the region. To find the area of the region, we need its length and breadth. How much is the length of the region? Yes, it is 100 centimeters. And how much is the breadth? It is 144 centimeters. So we have to multiply those two numbers to get the area of the region. 100 times 144 will give you the answer of the area of the region. Next, we have to go for finding the area of the tile. And for the tile, what is the length and what is the breadth? Yes, 12 is the length and 5 is the breadth. Let's multiply them. It is 12 times 5. How much is 12 times 5? It is 60. So we have got the area of the region and area of one tile also. Now the next step is to find the number of tiles required. For that, we have the step here. The area of the region will be divided by area of one tile. So this is the process of finding the number of tiles required. So once we complete the division here, we are going to get the answer 240 tiles. So this is a daily life situation question, and this is a place where we are using the idea of finding area. So in this chapter, we have discussed about perimeter of some shapes and area of rectangle and square. So please practice the questions given in the textbook in the exercises, and all the best.